Hey, what's good everybody? It's your boy See Through the Script here, back with another decode, and this time I plan to cover a topic that has entrenched our modern times as a pressing issue for a long period of time. And this issue is to be referred to as none other than climate change. As we are currently in the year 2021, we are only 9 years away from the United Nations 2030 Agenda milestone. Now, the United Nations has made it very clear that they have established a roadmap along with 17 goals they plan to accomplish or have gotten closer to solving before 2030. However, for the sake of time, we're only going to be looking into a specific goal out of the 17, which happens to be goal number 13. Now, let's define climate change. Climate change is a pattern of change affecting global or regional climate as measured by average temperature, rainfall, and extreme weather. Now that we have a better understanding of climate change to a simpler extent, this agenda must be pushed onto the masses, but it would only garner so much attention unless they had a public figure, someone they could use to pull on individuals' heartstrings. Now, who could play that pivotal role? Let's find out. Well, look who we have here. Miss Greta Thunberg, and I titled this Born to Shill. As you can see here, with her date numerology, prime date numerology for that matter, has prime numerology of 27. Now this matches in Gematria with the words climate, ritual, and sinful, all in the most pure cipher being full reduction. Next, you can see here Greta Thunberg, her full name when spelled out, matches with the phrase climate change and Society of Jesus. The only difference being 65 and 56, that is a reflection in numerology, which is just as important, and the 70 connection in reverse full reduction. Now, notice here, Greta was born on January 3rd, 2003. Now, January 3rd, written 1/3, like 13. Climate action is the 13th goal out of 17 they plan to achieve by 2030. And Thunberg, her last name, in full reduction equals 41. 41 is the 13th prime number. And also notice the 2003 and 2030 connection with the 2-3, like 23. Next, you could see a very interesting connection here that we're going to dive deeper into as we go after this. And it states in the headline, on December 12, 2019, Vatican calls Greta Thunberg great witness of church's environmental teaching. And this has lesser numerology of 24. Notice Greta, her first name, equals 24 in full reduction. And great witness and Pope, at which she was titled by the Pope, have a 52 connection in our English ordinal and full reduction ciphers, along with a 25 and 52 connection in the reduction ciphers. Again, reflections are just as important. Now, notice here, Pope is using Shakespeare to make his climate change appeal, and this came on March 30th, 2021. Now let's give this a read here. Pope Francis adapted Shakespeare's famous Hamlet quote in an appeal to people to not remain blind to the destruction of climate change and the mass migration it may cause, writing, "To see or not to see, that is the question." And notice that climate change, Society of Jesus, and Pope all equal 56. Now, Pope Francis, alongside every other pope, he always releases an encyclical letter, and they do this ever so often during their time as pope. And he released a very interesting document in 2015 titled Laudato Si, and this has prime numerology at the day it was released, June 18, 2015, of 59. And notice here, the man who released it, Pope Francis, has that full reduction gematria of 59. From Pope Francis being elected as the first openly Jesuit pope to this encyclical being released, that's March 13th, 2013 to June 18, 2015, is a span of 827 days. And why that matters is 827 is the 144th prime, and Jesuit order equals 144. Now, notice here, Pope Francis equals 122 alongside universal and the word satanic in our ordinal ciphers. And why this is important is what is it that we're addressing? Specifically, goal 13 out of UN's 17 goals to transform our world, which is their broad statement that they have on their website for this agenda that they have coming up in the next 9 years. And notice that phrase equals 122 in full reduction. So Pope Francis being a forefront leader in this agenda, and again, we have that numerical connection to back that up as well. And it definitely is universal. And you'll see why it's satanic as we go forward.
You're on a very important mission here to Europe. Can you tell us, why is it important to include a visit with the Pope during your visit to Europe to talk about climate change?
Well, the Pope is one of the great voices of reason and compelling moral authority on the subject of the climate crisis. He's been ahead of the curve. He's been a leader. His encyclical Laudato Si is really a very, very powerful document, eloquent and morally very persuasive. And I think that his voice will be a very important voice leading up to and through the Glasgow conference, which I believe he intends to, hopefully intends to attend.
All right, now here's a super duper brief history lesson on who the Jesuit order is and where they were founded and when they were founded, for those who may have not been aware. And that was in Montmartre, Paris, France, for those who are curious. And the reason why this is very important is because the first conference for the climate change agenda to Road to 2030 began in 2015 in Paris. So very fascinating that the Pope is pushing an agenda starting in 2015 that started in Paris. And again, we know the Vatican is behind the UN and the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization and etc. So very interesting connection there. And here is a large list of conferences that have been held over the time since 2015 till now. And other than that, stay tuned as I have a video to explain why it is the Jesuits that are behind this nefarious scheme that is being pushed upon the masses.
Napoleon Bonaparte, 1769 to 1821, Emperor of the French. The Jesuits are a military organization, not a religious order. Their chief is a general of an army, not the mere father abbot of a monastery. And the aim of this organization is power. Power in its most despotic exercise. Absolute power, universal power, power to control the world by the volition of a single man. Jesuitism is the most absolute of despotisms, and at the same time the greatest and most enormous of abuses. The general of the Jesuits insists on being master sovereign over the sovereign. Wherever the Jesuits are admitted, they will be masters, cost what it may. Their society is by nature dictatorial, and therefore it is the irreconcilable enemy of all constituted authority. Every act, every crime, however atrocious, is a meritorious work, if committed for the interest of the Society of the Jesuits or by the order of the general.
Now, I wanted to conclude this video with an interesting article I stumbled upon, which was something on my mind for a little while now, which was the idea of whether it is possible in the near future we experience climate lockdowns, meaning that a country or a region is put into lockdown for a reason of climate, similarly to how we experienced C-19 lockdowns across the world. Also, other things I reckon we will experience in the coming years across the world is more media fear-mongering in relation to a dying planet. Also, weather manipulation via cloud seeding and geoengineering, and also being the fact that all these things occurring are in hopes to radically change humans' behavior for a future where a one world authority has full say as to how we all live our lives. But thank you to everybody who stuck around through the whole video. You're truly the real MVP. But other than that, hopefully you learned something, and if you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do, I appreciate you. It's your boy Script, and I'm out of here.